Greetings, Aquarius, and welcome to Ingrid's Insights. I hope you're doing wonderfully well. And let's jump right in and continue on with the tarot theme of tarot therapy, where I invite you to bring a question or concern and make it very personalized, whatever it is that you are challenged by at this time. It could be a mood or just a feeling of depression or some irritability or anger that you have going on, and some relationship that is bringing that up, whether personal or at work. So let's jump right in, and I ask you to let's see what will resonate for you from these angel oracles, and this will set the stage for the theme of the reading for my Aquarius. And thank you, Spirit Guides, for overseeing this reading for Aquarius. And vulnerability and freedom, Aquarius, is where you're going. That is what the angels want you to know. Often when we're vulnerable with our emotions, or express or share to someone we feel that we can trust or safe with, let them know our vulnerabilities. A good therapist. I was a therapist, psychoanalyst for many years, and also worked in psychiatric rehab. And I know how important it is, both as the therapist and as someone you're working with, to be vulnerable. And that leads to freedom in our hearts, because you will do this inner child healing. And many of us are coming into therapy these days, recognizing that we have been victims of narcissistic abuse, whether in love relationships where we felt entrapped and abused, or as children, and from our childhood programming. So let's jump right in. And before we begin this reading, I'd like to say, I want you to be in this here in this field together, and that really helps you to bring your questions and concerns right here in the present moment and get the most benefit and guidance. And thank you so much, Spirit Guides, for being with Aquarius today. And let's just breathe in and release anything that we don't need, and be ready and receptive to listen deeply to this message. And this is you, Aquarius, the Hermit. Well, right now you are approaching this question about this need for introspection. You've been on a journey within yourself, trying to understand yourself, to find this higher knowledge. And maybe that's made you appear to your peers or your family that you were a hermit, like going off, being alone. But as we know, Aquariuses are the most introverted but extroverted sign too. There's an ability to go deep, but also to connect with humanity. So that's saying that right now, Aquarius, you are following that star, and that's you, Aquarius, the star. And what helps is the choices you need to make. Well, you have a lot of choices around you. And as we become more aware and have more self-understanding, that does make us see the choices maybe we have made in the past that have challenged our situation as we find it now. And we need to look at times at our choices, look back at the past, and to see the attachments we made in relationships that could have been toxic, that could have been downright like the 7 deadly sins, not what we had thought we were getting into. But you're going and following that vulnerability and freedom, Aquarius, toward that inner child healing. And at the foundation is the 4 of Cups. Well, you're taking time out to meditate, to really reflect on the choices you have made, as we were saying. And sometimes a therapy or just a moment with the tarot cards, whether it's with a reader or on our own, can give us a sense of this image of where have I been caught up. This card of the Four of Cups is saying, I'm kind of disappointed. I'm kind of at the doldrums right now. And it doesn't all add up, this sense of emotion and putting love in and caring for things and the choices I've made. And it looks like as she's moving in this direction away from these choices and meditation and following that lantern. And let's see, what happened in the past was you, the hangman, you have a different perspective. Your whole world was turned upside down. Maybe you had some mental health crisis that just made everything totally non-functional for a while, or an illness where you had to retreat and rest and renew and heal. But it's saying that in the recent past, you've had a whole new perspective. You might have been hung up or asked to sacrifice an old way of seeing something for something more beneficial and healing. And that has led to the Emperor. Yes, well, you're bossing up, whether you're a man or a woman, and you are looking at the cultural influences, where you fit in society, all of those structures around us, and realizing how you fit into that, and taking over your own authority, and being the boss of your own life, and being able to manage and control and have the power that comes from you in your life, Aquarius. And what you need to do and focus on now is the Five of Wands. Well, is to recognize when we are taking over and bossing up and taking command of our life, that might, not fit that well with the people as they thought we were, that kind of allowing, just to let other people make our choices for us, or to feel like disappointed and that we can't really have our own emotions. But with this new perspective, maybe of having to sacrifice an old identity, an old way that you were programmed to be, so you can howl at that power and find your true, authentic strength of control and wisdom and authority and leadership over your life. And you are having to compete, and maybe there's inner conflict around doing that, Aquarius. It's not easy. And how you see yourself is the Hierophant. Well, we have another card here of saying with the Emperor, it's being very, this is the 4, and then you go to the 5, so there's a progression. And the Emperor represents more the structures, establishment, governments, laws, those larger organizations. And as an Aquarius, you're a humanitarian, and you're very interested in those larger worldviews. And the Hierophant says you see this question of the Hermit, of this going inward for self-knowledge and introspection, as following tradition. So maybe you're following a particular traditional path of divination, let's say. Maybe you're following the tradition of the tarot, or maybe you're following the tradition of a certain kind of psychotherapeutic treatment that you have been there and that's very established, doing it by the book if you're following the doctor's orders. But that could say that's how you're seeing this, and making a commitment to it, and a commitment to your higher power around this. And the people around you have a lot of energy, or your environment is very energetic and passionate and has a lot of new visions and ideas to take something out and what it wants to do, and that's what's going on. And your hope and fear is wealth. The Ace of Pentacles, well, both your hope and your fear. You maybe have some ambivalence about wealth, about building a legacy, about security financially, managing your money. about a new opportunity. But that is your hope and your fear, but it's saying you hope for wealth and you want to establish that and grow that. This represents a seed that could grow into the whole manifest world for you. And you've got the Emperor, which is powerful, a wealth, control, establishment, the Hierophant. And you've had a change of perspective. And your advice or the outcome is the Devil. Well, is to look at these, the devil is power too. It's a certain kind of power, that the power that controls this material form, this 3D, as they call the matrix. And we're all embedded in that. But we have to see that as we move, we have to move and be vulnerable. And that leads us to be free out of those attachments, those low vibrating callings and feelings from other people that lead us into entrapments and addictions, toxic issues. But our fear of letting go of that. And the fear is because of this inner child healing. This very tender inner child is terrified of the devil, of the devil's power. And we give the power of our own life over to the devil as opposed to being that emperor and claiming authority over our own life and seeing ourselves as connected to our higher power. And we can make that commitment to that strength within us. So a very powerful and deep reading as we go into this letting ourselves be vulnerable in this work we're doing, and to let that vulnerability lead to this freedom to be ourselves, really, is to be free from those attachments. And the devil could be representing this narcissistic trauma that we're attached to that keeps us traumatizing ourselves or choosing relationships where we will be traumatized, where we will be, at first seduced and love bombed and then depreciated and then discarded. And we have to watch out for that, those low vibrating energies, because we're going toward wealth. And the wealth is not just our bank account, but it's wealth in the sense of security, stability, having grown our own identity to the point where we have that sense of knowing who we are, that authority. So a beautiful reading, and let's get a few messages from our ancestors. Yes, that part of us, the DNA that we cannot override. It's within ours. It's not skin deep. It goes down to the bone. And as I said that, this card just jumped out. Guardian angel, you are not alone. Well, yes, the hermit is not alone in that dark night of the soul. As we wander and follow that star, we are never alone. And you might be watching out for feathers. That could be a sign. And you've got the star ancestor. Follow the voice of your soul with your choices. Make those choices come from the voice of your soul and not your ego. And you've been meditating and maybe feeling a little disappointed about your emotions and your relationships, but you're waiting for an important information with this oracle. She's bringing you nourishment, but you need to wait, and maybe the meditation in this card is going to bring that information. And this change of perspective has happened because of the hunter. You have been hunting down your desires and your fears. And when we do that, we are able to change a perspective and see things in a new way. And the Emperor is taking control and power and embracing the energy of peace. Because to be a good ruler and leader, you have to be at peace within yourself. And then the power comes out of a sense of authority instead of out of a sense of domination and being like a tyrant or a dictator. And right now it could be some competition and fighting or inner conflict or conflict with others, quarrels, but you're going to be the light in that and bring your wisdom and that innate innocence. And you are the Hierophant as you see this question. That sense of authority and looking to a leader, a teacher who you respect and bringing that energy down. And you've got the Druid. Well, the Druid is, in the ancient pagan world, is the Hierophant. And look at the wisdom. And he's got that staff and has gone on many journeys and holds that space, as does the Hierophant, for us to find our own beliefs, our own wisdom, our own connection to our ancestors and our family lineage, and of how we were, different information was transmitted down to us and our beliefs. And the great teacher learned from spiritual experiences with this energy. And let your energy go up toward the Holy Spirit, toward that divine love and light. And that's what's in our environment. And your hope and fear is wealth and is having that opportunity to grow something firm in the physical world. But it's saying set your sights higher. Yes, set your sights on wealth, but set it on the greatest of all wealth. And you have to conquer the devil to do that. And you do that by shedding old skin. Well, yeah, because the snake has been at times a representation of the serpent, of the devil in the Garden of Eden. So it's saying to take that very profound energy of creation itself and transform it and shed our old skins. Aquarius, as we embrace this reading that you brought here. And so let's get one card from our angel and oral oracles to give you, Aquarius, as your affirmations to take with you. And when you're going over in your mind this reading and you need some clarity on vulnerability and freedom in your inner child healing, it's saying you've got a guardian angel. The number 3 is important. And look at this color of purity and light. Protection, clarity, spirituality, and wisdom. Well, that is this hermit is going toward that, following that inner lantern, that star. And be careful, Aquarius, of vulnerability. But this is saying vulnerability and freedom, but be careful of being vulnerable and cluttered and in the shadows and confused. But you will be, all the angels will be watching over you as you go through this journey. You're protected. So a beautiful reading, and if you like the way I read, Aquarius, please subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up and let me know how you are working through these challenges or creative opportunities to grow and heal. And you know I love you, and we're in this interconnected field together. And we are learning to have that vulnerability. Not to just be vulnerable, but to have that vulnerability and find that freedom to heal that inner child. And then the magic will begin as we shed our skin, that old skin that is not protecting us any longer. And that old skin from the Garden of Eden of that seductive serpent that tries to entrap us with the wrong choices. And so we're moving forward, and a beautiful reading, and see you next time, Aquarius.